after Prince. I mean, elbow. This is something I just wrote yesterday. I find poetry to be therapeutic, so, and I think it's like my therapy homework, so I'm just gonna read it out real quick. It's called Deliberate Intent. I judge you like a repeat offender, no belief that I could change for the better, holding on to grudges for past regrets because it was done with deliberate intent. A hasty descent down the slide of depravity because no one wanted to know the real me. So I used my own twisted logic, concluding that the world owed me something because I was so tired of trying to fit the mold that the image I wanted to see wouldn't hold. But the image I wanted you to see wouldn't hold, and they turned me away like a lost soul, and the kindness within was spiteful and cold. As I took my revenge on all of them, now it was my turn to win, because I was so tired of losing, people using me for their own selfish gain, having to hold in the pain because I didn't want people to know. I wanted to be somebody else. I wanted to be the princess. I wanted someone to obsess over me and not be that odd girl others messed with, that quiet girl in the back of the class that no one would dare to ask on a date. And I hated myself for being myself, but who else was I gonna be? I would have settled for being on the outer rim of the in crowd, but they were too proud to let me in. So I gave into sins, and I knew if that would hurt others, but I didn't care because I knew life wasn't fair. It was my turn to get mine. It was my turn to get a piece of the pie, and everybody else was collateral damage. I felt justified with each penetration I took from a lover, even if he belonged to another. I loved being the center of attention at someone else's expense. I convinced myself that I could rinse the blood from my hands because there would be no reprimand, and any guilt that I felt would simply disappear. So deliberate was the intent that it cannot be forgiven. I cannot be forgiven for my own deadly sins of envy, lust, anger, and pride. And now I'm a woman serving my time in a self-imposed cell, where somewhere between heaven and hell, that bottomless well I call punishment and blame, where there are no winners, where I'm surrounded by blocks of cinders and I shiver because every day feels like winter, and I watch my soul wither away, leaving a bitter taste in my mouth, where I get to count the amount of times I should have chosen a different path, where I become my own wrath, and I become my own self-hating sister as I hear myself whisper, "You don't deserve better." And no amount of degradation, humiliation, deprivation of pain would ever be enough to compensate, because it's a crime that carries a life sentence with no chance of redemption, because my intent was so deliberate, so inconsiderate, so unlike the person I knew, who didn't have a clue about love but learned a little bit about lust and felt justified to use it to her advantage, who carried a low self-esteem in her pocket, blocking it from being seen so they wouldn't see the frightened girl I held inside. In the absence of words, I used the instrument between my thighs to fill the void. In the absence of poetry, I used the words I thought they wanted to hear, but now I'm here, begging for another chance to show you I can be better, that I am not a repeat offender, because I'm not the girl you once knew. I grew, I learned, I experienced, and I've punished myself for way too long. What more can I do to right this wrong? And she tells me, no matter what I do, no excuse and no amount of suffering would ever be enough, because my intentions were so deliberate. Thank you. And on a lighter note, this is for the ladies. It's called The Myth of PMS. I have a girl that I work with, and she does not believe in PMS. Yeah, that's what I said to her, so.
What?
It's a real short one. They are the spawns of evil, the emergence of unpredictable moods. They cry when they are happy, they laugh when they are sad. There's no use in trying to reason with them, and no priest can cast out the demons. It's just better to let her have her way if you want to survive the week of holy terror. But she laughed and said PMS was a myth, and then I shot her.